Now, a senior fisheries officer at the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in Diagigwe, has expressed concern about the increase in food prices on the continent. He called on government to introduce efficient measures to enable citizens, especially the poor, afford food.
The UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has raised concern over the alarming spike in food prices worldwide. The FAO Food Price Index (FFPI) increased by 12% in March compared to a month earlier and by 33.6% compared to March 2021. The senior fisheries officer, who is also acting as the country director for the Ghana office of the FAO, expressed concern about recent hikes in food prices. Indiagagwe called on governments to institute proactive measures to make food prices affordable.
Especially in developing countries like here in Africa, the incomes are very low. So if parallel to this, the food prices are increasing, it's serious. And that's why I see through many countries that the governments are trying to maintain the price of the food at a certain level by subsidizing. This is not sustainable. In the long run, we have to maybe rethink about our food system.
He warned poverty levels could be worse if soaring food prices in Ghana is not checked. The FAO country director also called for enhanced measures to curb illegal, unregulated and underreported fishing practices.
The capture fisheries are at the limit. What we can do, if we want to raise the fish consumption, we must invest in aquaculture.
Chief Director at the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Kwesi Amon-Himson, indicated plans are in place to get other countries to observe the closed fishing season.
And the sub-region is seriously considering coming together to have a closed season period. So it wouldn't be long, you would see those countries also closing their seas when Ghana does so, because they are saying that fish is migratory.
Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mavis Hawakumson, said financing the fisheries sector to achieve food security is key.
The impacts of climate change and the consequences on marine and inland waters as an important issue to tackle with adequate financing to ensure food security and nutrition.
The 2022 closed fishing season would commence from July 1, 2022 to August 1, 2022 for artisanal and semi-industrial fleet and July 1, 2022 to August 31, 2022 for industrial trawlers. Closed season or biological rest period is a period when fishing activities are halted during the spawning period of the fish.
Let's stay a while longer on subject relating to agriculture, and Dr. Charles Nyaba is the head of program advocacy at the Peasant Farmers Association. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Nyaba. So there's this concern about food security that has been raised over the period. I recall sometime last year, the farmers had raised concern over flooding and inadequate fertilizers for them to, produce the crops they were supposed to have done for, year-round consumption by all of us. How has that changed since the last time we spoke, and how do we intend to ensure we are food secure for the foreseeable future?
Okay, thank you very much, Roland. Let me also say good afternoon to all your colleagues and then all those who are listening. We are always on the grounds. We are with the farmers, we do the farming ourselves. So anytime we take signals, we try to actually provide as a form of a feedback to the government to prepare.
Right.
In order to address what we are going through now. If you remember, in 2021, around June, July, that is always the period that you go to the middle belt, northern part of the country, the plants will be ready for fertilizer. Around, and there was a serious issue with the fertilizer because the fertilizer companies at the time had refused to supply. That government didn't pay them for what they supplied in 2019, not even 2020, in 2019. And that if the supplies were not done, they were not actually moving fertilizer up there. So we have to actually put pressure on government to try to actually meet them halfway. Now, when that was done, around July, August, there was serious drought. So, irrespective of inadequate fertilizer, there was also drought along the line. And then in the mid-September to later part of September, there was also some special amount of flooding. So all these factors actually affected our output. So that was why before the year ended, we advised government that looking at the way things are going, if care is not taken, we are likely to have food crisis. I mean, we were never taken serious. You heard the minister come from public to condemn us that we were trying to cause fear and panic. Today, when you go to all the food-going markets, there is shortage. Apart from high prices, there is shortage. I just spoke to I spoke to my members there, trying to pick the signals there. And they told me that, look, everywhere people are roaming, market women are roaming with sacks looking for maize to buy, and they are not getting. And this is just in April.
Right.
We will start getting harvest for this year around September, October, November. So it means that we are in for serious trouble because by the time we get to July, August, the crisis would have worsened.
And,
now,
Dr. Nyaba, not to catch you, but this must have also been exacerbated by the, as we are learning now, the Russian-Ukrainian, situation, because we know that, heavy producers of fertilizers that we import into the country are from those countries. Now, that is also going to take a hit.
I didn't get you well. Were you talking about the global crisis of fertilizer?
We understand that because of a situation in Ukraine, the bombardments from Russia, there's also an impact it's having down here when it comes to fertilizer imports, for example.
Yeah. So then let's put what happened aside. It means that the situation this year is going to be worse than what we experienced previous year. The fact global crisis, many companies are shutting down production. China like this have actually restricted exportation of fertilizer. Russia is banned from export. It means that we need to put in measures in place. We are trying to do something small. I don't know how that will lead to the game changer. We are telling most of the farmers who cannot actually afford fertilizer to consider going into food commodities that do not actually require too much fertilizer. If you look at leguminous crops like soya beans, like peanuts, like beans, you don't need to put too much fertilizer. When you come to the metal belt, we are encouraging people to go into tuber, cassava, maize, plantain. Those ones do not actually require too much fertilizer.
Right.
We are also encouraging most of the farmers to go into using organic fertilizer, both the liquid one and the compost. And then we are thinking that these are measures that we want government to actually turn its focus to. Because the chemical fertilizer, apart from the fact that it's very expensive, it also comes with a lot of environmental consequences that I think with time, if you're able to actually tune our mind to the organic fertilizer, that may help a bit.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Charles Nyaba there. He is in charge of program advocacy at the Peasant Farmers Association. They're helping us understand the impact of a fertilizer shortage situation with farmers across the country.